Alright, what's up guys? It's your boy Pete from PFM Fit. Back with another episode today. Again, not mogging and gym vlogging. In the gym, of course, as always. Shirtless, of course, as always. It's freaking summer. It's too hot to wear one of those things anyways. What are we talking about today? We're talking about some elite recovery tips from a former college athlete, myself. I personally played in the NCAA D3 Collegiate Soccer League for a couple of seasons before the whole outbreak of issues happened in the world and whatnot. Kind of cut my soccer career short a little bit. A little disappointed about that, but it's okay because we found the gym instead, which is the reason I built this home gym because, well, government can't shut that down. But anyways, today I'm going through some of the elite recovery tactics that I used to use so that I could get through sports, recover faster, play sports every day, be on my feet every day, running every day, and I think these will help you as well because they will work for you. They don't necessarily have the same kind of carryover in the gym, per se, but there's a lot of athletes out there. A lot of athletes who use the gym as well, and the gym is its own thing, soreness is its own thing, but when it comes to sports and athleticism, where you're playing sports every day, doing the same thing every day, these are where these recovery tips come in handy. So let's get started right here. Number one, stretching. This is probably obvious. This is nothing new. I didn't invent stretching. I didn't invent, yoga or Pilates, obviously. I'd probably have a nicer home gym if I did, but it's okay. Stretching is totally essential. I say at least 15 minutes, but you probably want more like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to maybe even like 45 or an hour, depending on if you just kind of like it, or you get in the zone, you're watching TV while you do it, I think stretching post-training specifically, not prior, other than warming up, but not static stretching, more dynamic stretching. So static stretching post-training is the best time to really work your muscles through a range of motion and to keep your mobility up and to stay dynamic, which I think allows you to be dynamic the next day, because you get a good night's sleep. You don't go to bed stiff. You go to bed loose and you actually recover loose. You don't just wake up brittle and tight from going to bed stiff and then laying still for 8 hours getting more stiff, So I think that helps. Along with that, included in your stretching, I think this is number 2. You should do blood flow work, which is a multitude of things. First off, I think light banded exercises, where if you have a set of resistance bands and you get a little bit of blood flowing to the sore area, or the target area, be it your legs, your hips, your arms, your biceps, your shoulders, your joints even, you can just move joints with bands, and I feel like that blood flow helps relieve a lot of pain sometimes, or inflammation. And then the other blood flow work that I like to do is leg draining, which is, if you guys don't know what that is, it's when you will lay on your back on the ground and then stick your legs up in the air against the wall, and you will let all the blood and all the fluid drain from your legs. So you sit there until your legs literally go numb, not purple, but tingly numb, and then you stand back up and let the blood drain back into your legs. So what this does is it helps get all the fluid out and helps decrease inflammation, and it guarantees fresh blood is going to flow into the legs. It gets a ton of blood pumping to that area, which I think stimulates a ton of recovery as well. Which, again, I didn't invent that either. I heard it somewhere along the way from an athlete of some kind. I don't remember exactly where, but that's another tactic I use. Let's get into tactic number 3, which if you're a college athlete and on campus, obviously, you most likely have a training facility with trainers and physical therapist type people, or athletic trainers, who also probably have access to a ton of resources. Like, they'll stretch you, they'll wrap you, they'll they'll do your ankle wraps, they'll, tighten your knee sleeve, they'll offer you all kinds of physical therapy work, cupping, stretching, massages, all the good stuff. Even a D3 athlete, in the lower leagues like myself, I'm not going to brag on the accolades, but even an athlete like myself still had access to all these beautiful amenities, and I took advantage of it because I felt like I was a pro. I felt like I was training like a pro in college, which I was probably training as hard as a pro. I just wasn't at the same level, skill-wise and talent-wise, everything like that. But the point is number 3 is hot-cold therapy. This can either be ice packs and hot packs, or going as far as ice tub, cold tub, and hot tub if your training facility has that, which mine fortunately did, and I took advantage of hot tub, cold tub therapy because I really like the hot-cold contrast. Personally nowadays, since I don't have a cold tub per se, I have done, I have bought a few bags of ice here and there, and I leave them in the freezer, and then I will just fill the tub and do ice tubs when I need them. And at the same time, quite often, especially in the summer, I will do hot cold showers. So I'll go start hot, go cold, hot, cold, and cold usually. And that cycle also decreases a lot of inflammation, as well as just keeps your core temperature down in your body, which is just feels nice in the summer because you're not just sweating all day. Which is, I think anyone would enjoy that benefit. But yeah, in terms of hot and cold tub, I suggest at least 5 to 10 minutes for cold tub. I know some people say, oh, you only need a minute, you only need 3 minutes. Well, I think you're being a bitch. I think you need at least 5 minutes, and I usually go for 10. Not because I'm trying to be the toughest guy in the world, or I'm trying to beat Wim Hof's record, or anything crazy, but I feel like the first 5 minutes, it almost takes me personally 5 minutes just to get my breath under control. But once my breath is under control, it's like, why would I get out now? I just got the hang of this. So I can just sit in here for another 5 minutes, and I can probably go for friggin' 20 minutes, just when I get my breathing under control and the core and the whole body is used to it. But I don't think you need more than 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is about the limit where the benefits probably are doing more harm than good, let's say. But what are the benefits? When it comes to sports, I agree with these benefits because I think icing and adding heat decreases inflammation significantly, which also decreases soreness significantly, thus allowing you to be on your feet and use your muscles with more power, more frequently, aka on a daily basis. When you're playing sports like soccer, 2 hours a day, sometimes twice a day for 2 hours, sometimes throwing a gym session in there as well. A lot of training, which means you need a lot of recovery. And when you're using the same muscles every day, imagine if your split was morning legs, night legs, next day, morning legs, night legs, next day, morning legs, night legs. 6 days a week, you just hit legs twice a day. You'd fucking die. Most people would fucking die. Unless when it comes to sports, because it's not like you're squatting and deadlifting every day. Oh, squat in the morning, deadlift in the night. That would also kill most people too. But the point is the hot cold therapy, while it does allow you to recover and not be as sore, it also has its trade-offs, which I've heard these trade-offs, but I cannot necessarily confirm the validity of how true they are, although I understand the logic. So the logic is like this. You train your muscle gets sore. Let's say it's sore for 48 to 72 hours tops, and then by then it's practically 100% recovered, okay? But within that 48 to 72 hour period, the 2 to 3 day cycle of soreness, your body is breaking down that tissue from the damage you caused in the workout, and then it is rebuilding that tissue that much stronger for whatever adaptation it has across the 72 hours. And in that time, you're fueling your body with protein, you're fueling it with sleep, you're doing all the things you need to do as you normally would to facilitate your training and to facilitate your lifestyle and your growth. But the body has that time to grow. See, the con with the ice bath or icing in general or cold therapy in general is that while it decreases that soreness, it also decreases adaptation. Meaning, sure, you can hit the world's craziest workout and go ice bath for 5 or 10 minutes and not get sore the next day, but did you adapt? Potentially, the adaptations are decreased, so they say. And I'm not a scientist or a doctor, and I have not read any studies, none at all. So this is all anecdotal slash, whatever hearsay I'm spouting here. But this is what I've seen in videos and what I've heard people who are more qualified than me say, basically, which is why I only recommend using ice baths when you are doing something like sports, because I don't think it benefits someone in the gym to take an ice bath after every single workout. I think that's actually counterproductive, because if all it's doing is, let's say you have your bro split, you have your chest day, your back day, your, arm day, leg day, shoulders, and then repeat. You're only hitting one muscle once a week anyways. It doesn't matter if it's sore for a few days throughout the week, because you're hitting different muscles anyways. Whereas with sports, you're hitting, I'm running every day, running twice a day, 2 times a day. I got a game today and practice tomorrow and the next thing, A lot of running on your legs specifically. We're not doing handstand running here. No one does that, I don't think. And we're not playing polo where we're just riding horses and they do all the running. And I'm sure the horses need recovery too. But the point is you don't need to be sore every day from playing soccer or playing a sport that is on your feet running. But you do kind of want to get sore from something like the gym. Now, this doesn't mean you can just go nuts with the gym, and you still need to have a proper program and training split and whatnot that makes sense, so that allows you to recover. You can't just hit arms every day, but you can hit arms twice a week, because your arms are going to recover after 48 hours or 3 days tops, guaranteed. You can definitely hit arms Monday, arms Thursday, chest Monday, chest Friday, back Tuesday, back Friday, or whatever, back Saturday. You can hit almost any muscle in the body, except pretty much hamstrings after RDLs, because my hams are absolutely cooked right now. You can pretty much hit every muscle twice a week, and still have it recover and fit into a split if you program properly. So I wouldn't worry about taking your ice baths if you're primarily a gym athlete. But if you are currently a high school or collegiate level athlete, or you're just a person who trains by doing stuff like running or marathon training, where you're doing the same stuff, and the skill you need to build is in your lung capacity, not necessarily your leg hypertrophy, then you don't need sore legs. Your legs, if they're already strong enough to carry you 13 miles, in a day, you don't need them to get that much stronger. You just need the cardio and the stamina to, do the activity, which is where I think you could easily afford ice baths, which I think would help your goals. Whereas in the gym, it would do the opposite. So anyways, I probably repeated myself about 10 times. Let's get to the next point, because we'll just keep going in circles about hot, cold, hot, cold. The next point right here, and this is actually a good one. This is probably more powerful than any of the other, any of the other recovery tips I've talked about so far, except for the last one. And these are the only props I have as well. So, right in front of me, what we have right here is, if you can see, this is a CopperFit knee sleeve, all right? I have a pair of them. Along with that, I have a CopperFit belt that goes around the back here, the torso. So, you may think these are a little gimmicky. You may think they're gimmicky because they're sold for about 10 or 20 bucks at Walmart. And you know what? It is a little gimmicky. And I don't know why it works so good. I honestly don't know what copper does to the freaking body. I honestly didn't even really pay attention to the commercial. But I tried these freaking things, and they just work. They just work, all right? Forget soreness. I'm talking about knee pain and, tendon pain and, ligament pain and, just when, your elbow hurts from doing too much tricep work or too much bench press, I'll throw the knee sleeves on my arms and use them as elbow sleeves, and they work just the same. I don't get it. I actually do not get it. Because the only thing that I know they do is offer compression, They decrease and relieve muscle aches, and they offer compression, specifically in the joints and tendons, and it just feels good. I almost think it's just placebo at this point, because I honestly don't know. I'd have to do some more research. I probably should have done some more research, but I'm just giving you the straight-up anecdotal bro science explanation of, I use them, they work, they're really not that expensive, I have almost nothing to lose by using them, and pretty much after every leg day or every, sports session, so that's about 3 times a week when I'm running around, playing sports, running on a hard, concrete or turf surface or basketball court surface, and then I'm squatting heavy or deadlifting heavy. I wear my CopperFits after those workouts on my knees, and then on the deadlift day, I wear it on my lower back. I wear the back brace as well with the knee sleeves. It just feels so freaking good. I can't explain it. I still get just as sore, but I don't get the same amount of aches, and I can train harder basically without feeling like shit. I'm gonna feel awful tomorrow. I'm not gonna be able to freaking bend over tomorrow, or I'm not gonna want to, or my knees are gonna feel like shit tomorrow. Going up and down stairs, which I shouldn't have to worry about as a 24-year-old. But these things creep up on you when you train 6 or 7 days a week. It just happens sometimes, and that's probably bad programming for me. But the point is I still skirt around it and find a way, because I do have these recovery techniques that I literally do use all of these on a daily, if not most of them weekly basis. And that's why I believe in them. That's why I made this list, because, not all of them apply for the gym, let's say, like the ice bath, the cold tub, and all that stuff. But most of these would apply whether you're a full-time gym athlete, a full-time college athlete, a full-time high school athlete, or a full-time recreational, you play pickup basketball 6 nights a week. That's all just as valid. And the recovery, you all have a human body, you all have the same amounts of joints, tendons, and they all move in relatively similar ways with similar builds, which means you could all benefit from these similar types of movements that would aid in the recovery of the human body. So, anyways, let's get into point number 5. The last point, the final point before I outro here. And the reason I left this one for last was because this is the most important one when it comes to recovery, okay? And I think you could probably guess what it is because out of all the things I haven't mentioned thus far, what do we think it is? Little Dora the Explorer moment. It's sleep. Sleep is absolutely key. Sleep and relaxation, kind of a combo, because relaxation is also important too. I think it's important to decompress, give your mind a break, give your body a break, just give your thoughts a rest. And outside of just your sleeping window, it's good to just freaking take a breath here and there, and just collect, feel your heart pump for a second and just feel alive. I think it's good. So, sleep. 7 to 9 hours, uninterrupted, high quality sleep as often as possible, ideally every day. And I know it's not possible to do that every time, because sometimes you don't get perfect sleep, sometimes you do get interrupted, sometimes you have a kid that cries all night, or, you live in a neighborhood with a lot of trains or noise or gunshots, who knows. Shit happens, I get it. But ideally, you want to be getting as much sleep as possible, as much REM sleep as possible, because that's when your body does most of its freaking work, breaking down, repairing tissue damage that you did in the gym. The breakdown is in the gym, and then the repair and the growth is in the sleep. It's literally Naruto. You get a good night's sleep, your body freaking heals, you wake up refreshed. And honestly, I do feel like that. When I get like a quality 8 or 9 hours of sleep, you can tell the difference between a shitty night's sleep where you're tossing and turning and then a quality night's sleep. You wake up ready to attack the day. You wake up like, oh, I'm gonna fuck the day. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do it raw. And I don't care who fucking tries to stop me. You know what I mean? You're gonna do it because you have too much energy and you're just fucking striving for greatness. So, call it what you want. Ricky Bobby, Naruto, whoever you want, any ego maniac you can think of. Strive for greatness is piss excellence. What else we got here? Naps. 1 hour to 3 hour naps. Obviously, most people aren't going to be able to afford these, especially if you're training, working, playing sports, eating clean food, trying to be on top of shit, maybe fucking having kids, maybe trying to, socialize and have friends, or like play video games, or like do this thing called talk to women. Some people do these days. I don't really do that. But, I don't get the time. It's just more important shit like the gym and videos. So, anyway, you can just take naps if you're getting a shitty night's sleep too. Because if you're not getting your full night's sleep, then you probably do have the time for a nap somewhere in the day. But that's just another way. Naps are not ideal. Ideally, you getting a perfect night's sleep should most likely fuel you to go through the whole day without needing a nap. Most likely. I would assume in most cases. But here's another tip, though, when it comes to sleep, which is to get your 8 to 9 hours or 7 to 9 hours of quality high REM sleep, is to black out your room. Get blackout shades, all right? My room is pitch black, and this is perfect for me because over the past few years, I have been working night shift part-time, which means my schedule is completely backwards. So when I go to bed, it's like sometimes close to sunrise. Which I don't like, especially when the light's shining in my room. So I got blackout shades, so when I go to bed, whether it's literally the sun's out or not, it's nighttime in my room, and my body can actually relax, my eyes can freaking get a rest from all the light stimulus, and they can take a break and stop moving. And yeah, I just have crazy-ass dreams. Literally, you're not sleeping a third of your life away, I'm just living in a different dimension that third of my life, because I have no idea what's going on, but I'm participating in whatever the dream is, and it's usually some crazy shit. I feel like my average dream is most people's nightmare, though, because it's always like the apocalypse, or, it's just always the apocalypse. It's always doomsday. It's always some zombies or some aliens or, like, the grid collapsed. Like, I don't know. I'm thriving, too. I'm always thriving. I'm always like Mad Max warlord of the situation. I don't get it, but back to the point at hand, which is, let's talk about some sleep aids. And actually, now that I just made that little rant about my dreams, I'm starting to think the sleep aids I use, maybe they're contributing to my wacky nightmares, my wacky visions at night. Because I take some sleep aids here. I like to take glycine powder, which I don't exactly know what it does, other than the fact that I think it improves the quality of your sleep. So even when you do get less sleep, you feel like you get more. So my friend described it as this because he's the one who told me about it. He said, 7 hours of sleep feels like 8. 8 hours of sleep feels like 10. 6 hours feels like 7 hours. 5 feels like 6, and so on. You get the point. It kind of just makes your sleep a little more efficient, but obviously this is not to say you can utilize it and game it to say, oh, well, I can only get 7 hours, but with the glycine, it makes it like 8 and I can save an hour and wake up earlier. Like, no, don't game it. No, you want to still get 8 hours of sleep and have it feel like 10, ideally, because you're going to feel so rested on 10 hours of sleep and you're going to make extra recovery gains because you're getting a more powerful recovery, because I think it enhances your REM sleep, which is what gives it the increased quality. Another sleep aid is magnesium. Now, I take a magnesium supplement with my vitamin stack, if you guys saw my video the other day about vitamin supplements, but I only take that right after my first meal, which is not like a before bed sleep aid. So, but I know some people do take magnesium for that purpose, and they will take it right after dinner or right before bed, let's say, which I think is fine. And if you notice benefits from that, then I think there's no reason to not do it, because it will probably work for you and will help improve your sleep. So I don't think it'll make it worse. And then here's the last thing, which is melatonin, which I do not take anymore, but I was such a hyperactive, energetic spaz as a kid that I actually took melatonin like religiously as a kid, and I even myself, it wasn't even like my parents came in and were like, oh, time to take your medicine, son. It's like, no, I would see like, oh shit, it's almost midnight and I am bouncing off the walls, jumping on my bed right now, like doing push-ups, doing sit-ups, doing at-home ab workouts, doing whatever, because I just have energy still. I would literally take the melatonin and be like, all right, well, 30 minutes from now, my eyes aren't going to be able to stay open, so good night. And then I would just lay in bed, and yeah, lo and behold, your eyes don't stay open. You fall asleep on melatonin. So that shit works, and if you're one of those people who can't fall asleep, talk to your doctor about taking melatonin. Don't just go fucking order it on Amazon, all right? Talk to your doctor first, because I don't want you to just, put yourself into a melatonin coma or some ridiculous shit. Anyways, let's summarize. 5 elite recovery tips from a former college athlete that you yourself can use for athletic purposes, sport purposes, training purposes in the gym, etc. Number 1, stretching, super key. Number 2, blood flow work, also key. Basically movement. Movement causes blood flow, and if you don't move, you lose. You lose that movement. You got to use your movement. You got to move your body in every way. Number 3, hot and cold therapy. Not essential for the gym, but I say it is pretty essential when it comes to sport endeavors, athletic endeavors, training the same muscles like your legs every single day through explosive movement. Yes, you need hot-cold therapy, in my opinion. I think it'll only benefit. 4, copper fit knee sleeves. You probably don't need these. You probably aren't going to get them. But if you do, or if you're thinking about it, I highly recommend it because it works great for me. It makes my knees, my elbows, and my back, which are my most ached and aggravated joints on a regular basis, it makes them all feel way better post-training. So I use it as a recovery tool, which is what this whole video is about. And then number 5, sleep. You need to get your sleep in. Do whatever you got to do to get your sleep in. Make your schedule properly. Set a bedtime. Set your alarm. And force yourself to freaking get on a routine like a big boy, because not getting enough sleep and saying, oh, I'm tired, I'm too tired for the gym, or, oh, well, I can't sleep at night, so I can't do this. Those are lame excuses. Don't be a bitch. You're holding yourself back, and you don't want to live in a prison of your own making. Sleep is a good quality. You should enjoy it, and you should have fun dreams, and you should feel rested when you wake up to then go attack the day in the real world, because the dream world is just the dream world. Whether it's a parallel universe, I don't even really care. But I do know that the real world, when I wake up and open my eyes, I can interact with a lot more consciously, let's say, than I can in the dream world. So this is where I spend most of my time. That's what you got to do too. Anyways, people, if you learned anything from this, if you find any of these tips useful or helpful, or you think you're going to try and implement them, let me know how you use them and if they worked for you and if they helped you recover. Leave me a comment, leave me any questions you may have, and anything else you may be curious about, or any other video ideas in the comment section. So, yeah, that being said, be sure to like and subscribe, and peace. See ya.